So I guess Brett decided, now I'm going to get up as the show's starting. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dbacks Dispatch. We got another series to recap. Game 1 didn't go the way we wanted to, but we did take games 2 and 3. They were both sweaty nail biters. Like, they were definitely like on the seat of your pants, like you need to pay attention, but we did take the game, so it was very good. So we'll go ahead and start here. Game number 1. We end up losing 5-7. So things didn't go very well. For me, the story in this game, Zach Gallen likes to bend it. Like, it's absolutely freaking ridiculous what Gallen did in this game. He had 10 strikeouts. He threw 108 pitches, 40 curveballs. And, like, it's not a normal curveball. He throws a knuckle curve, and he was, like, that's all he was throwing. Like, and the thing is, most of them were completely out of the zone. They were not hittable whatsoever. So I feel like Gallen, like, he was trying to, like, I don't know if this was his choice or a game plan with Strami, but they're like, we're going with the curveball tonight. It worked for the most part. He had a decent outing. It wasn't spectacular. Like, he gave up 8 hits through 5. He did have 10 strikeouts. His ERA is not that high. It's at 2.25 after this. So it was decent. Brett, what are your thoughts on Gallen here today?
So I'm looking at the I always like to go to Baseball Savant. That's where I get my, advanced numbers. I love it. And you were not kidding. Like, I know we talked about like him throwing a lot of curveballs, but literally 108 pitches, 101 of it was either a fastball or a curveball. He threw 4 cutters and 3 sliders. That's it. Like, I don't even see a changeup in here. I don't even see Zach's changeup at all, which is like honestly the most like mind-blowing thing. Because I mean, I get, Coors Field, the pitches don't move the same, so I guess maybe that's the reason why. Maybe they didn't, like, Strom and them went back and looked. They're like, hey, the one pitch that you've gotten rocked here has been your changeup because it doesn't break as much. It doesn't have the kind of like movement. What's up?
You say something, Gabe?
Never mind.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, like, I don't know if, like, I mean, he had some good spin on everything, like his fastball and curveball. Well, pretty much everything he had was in nearly the 2,500 RPM, but, I mean, he looked good. Can't really ask for too much more than, again, 5 innings. Would like more than that, but just putting up what he did in Coors Field, it's can never be mad when a pitcher actually goes out there and gives you a real chance to win in Coors Field where you don't have to be into your bullpen in the 4th inning because you're down by 4, down by 5.
I mean, you brought it up. We still have bullpen struggles. Bullpen was a little bit rough in this game. McGuff came in. He couldn't even get through an inning. He gave up 3 runs. But after that, like, it wasn't too bad with the bullpen. McGuff, and I think his splitter does not work in Coors, and that's his pitch. Scott McGuff's pitch is that splitter, and it doesn't really work at Coors. Like, anything that breaks doesn't work. So a curveball, changeup, split, like, those pitches just don't work very well at Coors.
Yeah, I mean, they're bullpen ERA, and that's the thing that's unfortunate is with you, like, we've seen the blown saves, even if the games aren't, you can't say, oh, just the blown saves on Ginkel when the rest of the bullpen on their way to Ginkel with Castro and McGuff and all those guys and Man Supply in Colorado. giving up those runs, it doesn't help. I mean, at least the bullpen's still sitting with a 3.88 ERA. I know we'll get to it eventually, but there's definitely some times where the bullpen shaky at times. Definitely, it's not like they're easy and it's heart pounding, but at least when you look at the numbers in the box score, the bullpen is still, I'd say, 60 to 70% of the time, pretty decent.
Yeah, so we did lose Gabe there for a second, so I wanted to throw it here to Gabe on his thoughts on Zach Gallen's outing.
I want to read the fact that he was, throwing so many curveballs, and we're talking about the, maybe it was strumming, maybe it was whatever. I wonder if it was one of those things where during warm-up that was just what was working for him. He took one of the pitches, cutter and stuff like that, and it just didn't really work as well as was normally, especially with it being Coors. A lot of off speed and stuff just doesn't work at all. So he probably realized the one thing that's working for me today is the knuckle curve, and also like we brought up before, he had a shortened spring training, so he's still probably ironing out the kinks of what works for him. But yeah, and I guess with McGuff,
yeah,
what can you say about him?
I don't know. McGuff at times really does frustrate me. He'll have stretches where he looks like this, where he looks like he is not a good pitcher, like he's Castro Frias, and then he'll be like he's our third best guy out of the pen after Ginkold and Thompson. So he's very hot and cold. So it's very, very disappointing. So we did end up losing game one. I'm going to go to game number 2. And the first thing that I want to show, where is it? I got to find it. Sorry. First pitch of the game, Corbin Carroll. That's called a strike, ladies and gentlemen. I don't look at this. That is a good 6 inches off the plate. That was the first pitch. And what is the next pitch? Corbin's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to go oppo. His first career leadoff home run and his first home run of the season. So congratulations there to Corbin Carroll. Gets off the schneid. He had a really good series. Corbin had a really good series. I was very, very pleased with how Corbin played in this one. It was a close game for this. So kind of was a little bit too close for my taste. So, Brett, what are your thoughts on Corbin getting his first career leadoff?
I mean, a little surprised. I mean, maybe not surprised. I know Corbin's not a power guy necessarily, and known for being like an Acuna type, or even lately a Cattell type, where he's gonna punch you in the mouth right at the start. But it was nice to see him kind of do a little fuck you to the umpire, like, okay, you're gonna call the ball 6 inches off the plate. I'm gonna borderline golf this out of here, take advantage of Coors Field. Thank you very much, and continue the Dbacks trend of scoring early. Love it. And don't love the rest of the offense. Obviously, we'll get to it. But the early runs is just something that's still just I'm not used to. Not used to the years of last year, the answer backs. Even if they give up one or get 1 or 2 runs, it's usually they do all their aggregate scoring in the very late innings, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Where this year it's the very opposite. This year, first inning, they punch somebody in the mouth, and then they're just like, all right, we're fine. We got the 2023 bullpen out here, even though. As
you say that, on the broadcast today, they had this graphic. In the first 3 innings, this was as of today, they scored 43.
Jesus.
The Padres are at 33 at second place. It's absolutely ridiculous. Gabe, your thoughts on Corbin and the freaking early backs?
I mean, it's a little less stressful than the answer backs were, but still, it's like you want them to continue the trend because they score early, and then after the third, they're like, I don't feel like it right now, crabby. It's like you guys got to score at least a little bit more. But I mean, we saw what happens, with New York and stuff. And even if they put up 8 runs, the bullpen can still blow it. But it's always good to set the tone early, kind of demoralize the opposition real quick. Get them under feet, get them a little bit to be a little bit more honest and stuff. I wonder if it's doing anything mentally for the team that's causing them to make some mental errors and stuff like that, where they feel like they get the lead, they get a little too comfortable, they're not, on their toes as much as usual. But yeah, I mean, Corbin looks like he's back.
Yeah, that was very nice. He wasn't the only one that had their first home run of the year. Randall Grichuk gets his first home run as a D-back against his former mates. So that was really great to see. He's starting to we see why they got him, because he can also be he can also start in the outfield. Unlike Jock, they're like, nope, we're not. We're just.
I feel bad, man. He got kind of picked on this last 2 games. The bloops and all, like they're just dunking it right at him the entire time, to where he was just barely missing, like kind of like what Nolan Jones was in today's game that we'll get to eventually. But just one of those dives, they just kept putting it right in the spot where I was like, man, Grichuk, you're making an amazing play, but just it's the last little bit at the end there that the ball's not staying in the glove. Nothing he's like doing wrong. That's just baseball. But it was just a very there's a lot of bad luck, going the Dbacks or not going the Dbacks way, and a lot of bad luck screwing them over for a while.
Yeah, we actually got a comment on one of our tweets. Someone said that dive by Grichuk should have been an error. I'm like, no, that is not a routine play.
Yeah.
So, so it was really good to see Grichuk get that there. I want to give a shout out to our man Josh, who's been absolutely phenomenal lately, and Mr. Lowtone Capone, who's watching us via Twitter /X. So we appreciate you for stopping by. We appreciate it very much. So another thing that a lot of people were worried about going into this series. Actually, you know what? Gabe, your thoughts on Randall Grichuk and like how he's been, because he's only been here like playing for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lot, but I mean, he's not like he has a whole time in Reno either. He's gonna get used to being with the Dbacks and hitting against his former team and stuff. So he knows the division well enough. I'm excited to see more of him. Maybe him rather than certain other guys on the team. Hint, Labello. But yeah, I mean, excited for him. Excited what he's gonna bring to the table.
Yeah, I love this whole idea of a platoon in the DH spot. And also you can also put Randall Grichuk there in the outfield because he plays serviceable defense. Like, he's not like fast, but he's not a liability out there like Jock is. Like, I can almost guarantee you that Jock will the only time Jock plays in the outfield is if literally everyone else is like just too tired. Like, they've been going.
Torrey does a whole bunch of switching on the bench and we run out of DH and we have no more outfilders.
He could have done that today and he didn't do that. Like,
I just had to throw that in there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Oh, this is what he meant. Sorry, I completely forgot.
There you go.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Josh. So another person that freaking balled out in this game, Gabriel Moreno, decided, I want to play baseball in 2024. He goes 4 for 5 in this game, 2 doubles, and also teams. When are you going to learn? Do not run on Gabriel Moreno. Our producer, Josh Hunt, made this fantastic edit. Eddie posted to Twitter on midday on Tuesday. And then teams are like, And then Gabby got an opportunity to show why that is. Like, look at this. This is a great tag by Blaze, too. Like, he's just, like barely swipes on Doyle and gets him. This one's an easier one. It's a double steal, and almost every single time you're going to get that guy going to second. So yeah, Gabby looked absolutely phenomenal. I think his average went up like 100 points with these 4 hits. So congratulations there. Brett, your thoughts on Gabby's bat kind of coming back?
I mean, just great to see. I know we were kind of seeing at the beginning of the year, didn't really see much, hard contact. We saw the normal thing. Gabby could put the barrel on the ball anywhere in the zone if it's out, if he needs to fight. But even when it was just very, foul tips, foul balls here and there, and ugly swings. Didn't really look like the Gabriel Moreno that we saw most of last year, and especially in the playoffs, where the saying where you go to Coors Field to get right. Apparently, Gabriel Moreno was, maybe Corbin Carroll as well, but Gabriel Moreno was the one that actually heard that memo and was like, okay, I'll do that. Like, I'll easily, like you said before, that home run, if it were not for that giant wall in right field, or double, if not for the giant wall in the right field, it would have probably been a home run. It was just good to see him drive.
We lost 3 home runs in this series because of that wall.
I will say we did definitely get gifted too, because the Grichuk and Carroll ones, I will say it, Coors, 100% Coors. That was all the Coors effect on the. That would have been probably a double. I don't have the baseball savant numbers in front of me, so I could have that exactly, but I don't know. I don't think those are gone in many other parks because just the way that it barely carried over the fence. But back to Gabby, it was good to see him actually drive the ball, hit the ball really well, and just get that confidence back in the plate.
So Carroll's home run would have been a home run everywhere but Chase, Camden Yards, Fenway, and Miami. And Grichuk is everywhere but Camden Yards, PNC Park, and Globe Life Field. So
he's been home run everywhere but those 3?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Huh.
So Oscar points out, yeah, he was so good he set up the third gate. It's Coors, and Torrey is notorious for giving guys days off there just due to the elevation. And also, day game after a night game, most of the time you sit at least one of your major players.
He could have hit for the cycle, and he still would have sat.
Yeah, like he definitely would have sat there. So, Gabe, your thoughts on Gabriel Moreno offensively and defensively?
He's just like incredible. I mean, I know we have Adley out there too, and even Will Smith to a certain extent. Will Smith is a good offensive catcher, but he's not good defensively. They run train on him anytime they play against him. But Adley, is
hold.
No, not hold. But yeah. It's one of those things where it's like he just continues to improve more and more. I mean, he started off a little slow, but he's coming around. Same with Carroll, where just a reminder, these guys are 23, 24 years old. They're still really, really young. But just the fact that he's able to drive the ball a little bit more. He went 4 for 5. I mean, yeah, even this
like
one,
this little dribbler was perfect. Just
and the thing is, he is one of the more faster catchers too. He gets down the line pretty quick, and he's athletic. He throws guys out like nothing. It's incredible to watch him. As soon as you see or hear on the broadcast, oh, the runner goes, more often than not, he's going to get them out. And I mean, he's been looking really, really good, especially in this series. And like Oscar brought up, he went 4 for 5, so that means he has to sit out the next day, like Blaze did, going for 2 for 2 today, with the home run. So that means he needs to get benched for one of the Petersons.
Yeah, and we got another first in this game. We got our first save of the year. I misheard on the broadcast. I thought it was the first save opportunity. No, it's our first successful save. Thanks, Brett, for calling me out on that.
Honestly, because I thought the same thing too, and then I was like, oh, you're right. And then I was like, wait, no.
No,
I was like, he really blew one against Atlanta.
Which I'm like, he was going for a 4-out save, so I'm like, that is that really a blown lead. Like I
I
don't.
mean, hey, I wouldn't go into that territory because then you can bring up 2001. Did Mariano Rivera really blow the lead? I'm just saying. I'm gonna keep it as yes, he did.
So, but no, we won this game. So we tied the series. We had game number 3 today. What was it? Tommy Henry. Ooh, Tommy. 32 pitches in the first inning. I get he only gave up 1 run, but it wasn't. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. Rewind. We aren't talking about game 3 yet. We're talking about game 2. Congratulations, Torey Lovullo, 500 wins as a D-backs manager. I want to ask you guys: is he the best manager in D-backs history, or is that kind of like not fair to ask?
I think it's a very valid question. I think he would definitely be number 2. Like, I know a lot of fans are probably gonna, like any manager, you can question their man. Like we do it a lot on the show. I do it every day, especially when he gives up a DH spot. I know a lot of people are going to go with Brenly just because, again, they won the World Series. They actually finished the thing, did it there. But I would say there's a very good case and a very good argument that Torey Lovullo could be considered the best manager. Again, just at least on paper, there's a lot of things that do point to, I believe, Torey having the upper hand.
I think tenure. I think he's the longest tenured manager that we've had. Like no one else has lasted this long. So
Exactly.
Gabe, do you think just based on the fact that he has 500 wins, that should make him the best manager in D-backs history, or do you think Brenly still has that because he has the World Series?
I would think it's a fair question to ask. I mean, yeah, Brenly does have the World Series. I guess the issue I think is always going to be like you're comparing apples to oranges in the situation, just because of the team that Brenly was given at the time. He was given a team with Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Luis Gonzalez. Like he was given a team with Hall of Famers and borderline Hall of Famers. And Lovullo, when he took over the D-backs, he had a good squad that had failed to reach the playoffs the year before. He made a quick turnaround. He's still under 500 as a manager. But I think Hazen would agree that a lot of it is his fault to a certain extent because he's the one who put the team together, not Lovullo. So, I mean, Lovullo has to go out and do what he can. With Brenly, again, he just had a really, really good team. And even if you watch like those World Series, especially like Game 7, I mean, how many left-handers face Mariano Rivera? They batted like 150 against him for his career. He had like 4 lefties go up against him, and it's like that probably wouldn't happen nowadays ever. So I mean, there's a lot of luck involved, and a certain amount of skill. But still, manager sets the tone. I'm really happy for Lovullo that he got 500. Let's get him to over 500 for his career with the D-backs. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the most, I think, obviously criticized, but also most beloved managers that we've had here, because we've had a lot of guys who are just not it when they were here, like Chip Hale and what's his face from the Tigers to
Kirk Gibson,
AJ Hinch.
Maybe Hinch, no, specifically Hinch. But again, it's just, I feel like if they keep this same crew together for a while with Hazen as a GM, I can't see Torey becoming like, one of the numbers that's retired, honestly.
Number 17. Yeah, I could definitely see it. So our producer, Josh, pretty much has made his choice. There's a reason it was called the Bob.
That's pretty valid. I mean,
it was called that because Bank One Ballpark is short for that acronym is Bob. That's why. It's not because of Bob
Josh
Brenly.
Has got agendas to spread, just like us. Okay.
So congrats, Torey. I thought last year he was on the hot seat. Like when we were struggling there in August, I'm like, if we don't make the playoffs or if we don't make a deep run, he's probably gone. There's no way they can fire. Like I know everyone likes to say, "Oh, let's fire Torey," because he made, again, in today's game, made a very questionable substitution. I get why he had Jocko in there. Jock has not had many at bats because we've been facing a plethora of lefties, and that's like Jock just is awful against lefties.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get a string of righties so that we can see Jock's hitting. Jock's playing amazing when he's getting the opportunity. Like
He's basically Perdomo up there. He's just like, I'm just gonna walk.
I'm gonna
walk every time.
Get a infield single. Yeah,
Literally.
like he has like 4. I think like half of his hits are infield. Now 2 of them against the Rockies should have been errors in my opinion. Game number 3 here, we end up winning 5-3. Tommy Henry had a rough first inning, and so it wasn't exactly the best, I would say, for Tommy Henry. But he did pitch. He was able to kind of settle in after that really long first inning. He also had like 20 plus in the 4th. So also not it was a decent outing. But once we're healthy, y'all, sorry, he's gone. Like he is going down. Like there is
I will say in his defense, Tommy Henry is like the worst pitcher to put in Coors just because of the stuff that he has. It's so much off speed and stuff that has rotation in it. And here it can work, and other stadiums it can work, but Coors because of the air there and the elevation, his stuff is just never going to work there ever. We've seen it with other Rockies pitchers too. It's just the guys who rely on these sort of crafty lefties or off speed. They get the exact same results as Tommy did today. Just a ton of pitches, can't find the zone. And but I do think once Erod and Montgomery are here, it's probably going to be the first one to get to Torino before Nelson does.
So I think Montgomery's supposed to be back up in about a week.
Yeah, just over
Nelson's next start's going to be huge because that's going to decide who they probably send down. But I want to talk about the highlight of the game for me. Bryce freaking Jarvis, ladies and gentlemen, made a phenomenal play here.
Cheater.
Like it was a tiny jump throw. Like it wasn't a big jump. I mean, both sides of the play were amazing. Like Jarvis and then Walker just showing, yeah, I'm going to win another Gold Glove. So you may as well just give it to me now.
He's insane, man.
I mean, same with Gurriel too. I'm like, the way he's been fielding this season, I'm like, he might win the Gold Glove too. We might have 4 or 5 Gold Glovers.
We should. We definitely should. So let's see.
Speaking of possible Gold Glove winners, Alec, some pretty good news about him today.
Yes, he started baseball activity, so hopefully he's not too far away. I don't know if we're missing him so much as we are missing Domo. Like not having Domo right now is huge.
Just on defense alone.
Yeah, just on the defense. Like Blaze had not a great read on a fly, if you want to call it a pop-up right outside of infield that drops. Merrill picked him up by inducing a double play, and then he had another error in today's game, later in the game. But he did do this, gets his second home run of the year, and goes oppo. I love when guys go oppo. I think it's one of the coolest things to see because so many guys are pull hitters. So many guys love to pull the ball. It's just easier to hit. So it was really nice for Blaze to now go the other way. Oscar, don't make me mute. Like, I will ban you for this comment right freaking now. Gold Glove. I don't think so.
It sucks because he's a good defender, man. He was really solid. Like
what I'm thinking,
talking about it on one of the podcasts I was listening to earlier. There's 2. I don't remember. I don't want to say one and have it be wrong. but he's a really good arm, and he's a really good defender, especially in Reno and just in the minors in general. That's where maybe this is nerves of, I'm trying to be perfect because I'll get subbed out if I'm not absolutely perfect. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know what that's a reference to, and might just be. I think it's just the yips. I genuinely think it's just the yips because there's no way he's this bad of a defender.
Did he play shortstop at all in spring?
I actually knew. I believe on that same podcast they ended up mentioning that he got most of his reps at second base because I think they were trying to get which in hindsight a mistake because they were trying to get Rivera and Jace and whoever else they could at short to figure out that. So Blaze got most of his time at second base.
So I think I think he just needs more reps at short. And I think, like you said, he's a rookie, so he's trying to be perfect. Just let the game come to you. Relax. It's a routine ground ball. Make the plays. I think he'll be fine because he's hitting. That's the thing.
He still has like a 975 OPS and stuff. So he's hitting per average. He's hitting per power. He's taking some walks. He's able to run the bases really well. Offensively, I think he's going to be fine. Defensively, we haven't had that many off days. We've had one Thursday off, I think. Other than that,
we have one tomorrow. We have one tomorrow.
It's also a travel day, so it's one of those things where I don't know exactly when they would fill in, fielding drills and stuff for him and some of the other guys. So maybe, he probably will adjust. He will figure it out. Just give him time. I mean, I remember when Perdomo came up that even last year, I think. Yeah, last year at the beginning of the year, Perdomo was not good at short for a while.
No.
He really, really struggled. And then suddenly
22. 22, he was not good.
Then suddenly he became, Nick Ahmed, with slightly better offensive numbers. But he showed, he had a great arm. He had a really, really good range. So just give him time. He's still really young, so he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think he'll be good. I think the most important at-bat in this game, top of the ninth, Suarez hits a bloop that Nolan Jones almost makes. Walker scores all the way from first. Now, there were 2 outs, so obviously he was running as soon as the ball was hit. So big hit there for Suarez. We take the lead in the ninth. Ginkel makes it a little bit sweaty for me. Thanks, Ginkel. But he gets the save, so he has. It's funny. We had no saves 24 hours ago, and now we have 2. So good job there, Ginkel. I think it was before the game on Tuesday. There was a clip of Jody talking to Strom. He wasn't happy with the bullpen either.
Nobody was.
Yeah, which is what you want them to say. It cost them 2 games in Atlanta that they should have won. There's no doubt they should have won those 2 games. I think they were very just probably the coaches were, the bullpen guys. I wanted to bring this up because of how we played on Monday with the bullpen. Should we, and I think Brett's going to be in agreement with this, should we send down Frias and Mantiply for Saul Frank and J-Mart?
Can we also send down Scott McGuff as well? I still like Scott, but it's recency bias on my answer for that part. But 100% please bring back Saul Frank, bring back my best friend J-Mart, get them back on this team.
I would rather trial and error with those 2 over Mantiply and Frias. I am not a big fan of Frias. I'm just not.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with the sample size at this point. Frias has a pretty decent sample size. So does Mantiply. Mantiply had one good half year in 2021. Since then, he's kind of been ghosting off.
He had 2 good months. He had a 2-month good stretch.
I mean, he was our all-star, so I think he has some leeway there. But I mean, he's had his injuries too, but we've seen kind of what he is and what he has, and that's why I think at the deadline we probably are going to look for an elite lefty reliever because who do we have? I mean, Nelson has been balling out a bit too, but we need another guy, a Mantiply type, but maybe not Mantiply. So hopefully, maybe we can see what Seawald has, what Jamar has, because when they come in, these guys to a certain extent they are pretty electric to watch, and Supply and Frias, it's like hold on to your butts.
Yeah, hold on to your butts for sure. But we took the series. I really felt like we should have won game one. I think Gallen just he struggled a little bit. Like Brett said, he only threw 2 pitches, his fastball and his curveball. No, he didn't throw anything else. I don't know if it was a game plan or as they were going, he just wasn't feeling it. He also looked like there was something going on with the mound in this series. There were multiple guys that were when they would come back in, they would make they looked like they weren't pleased as to what was going on with the mound. So
I was gonna say, I wish, obviously, down the road, fingers crossed that we'll have the access to it. But I wish it was a home game, or just in general, be able to ask the players, specifically the bullpen pitchers, how they felt about the baseballs. Because I know the Rays reliever, I believe Fairbanks, the other day after in the last series that the Rockies had before the Diamondbacks, the Rays closer ended up giving up a walk-off grand slam to Ryan McMahon. And afterwards was in the locker room very adamant, the baseballs are it's dog shit. There's no consistency. Every baseball was completely different, and there was no there's nothing that was the same on any of the baseball. Everything was different.
That's been the case since
the humidor.
What's the company that makes the base? I mean, it's MLB now that took over. Ever since they took over, every player's been complaining about the baseball and the inconsistencies with it. I mean, that's what Glass now brought up, and everyone brought up with the sticky stuff. That at first it was literally just because everyone. So if you guys don't know, every ball before a game is rubbed down with Mississippi mud, I think it's called. It's literally mud from this one specific farm, mud farm that they get the mud from, and then every ball. So if you ever grab a ball, if it looks a little discolored, that's what it is. It's mud.
Yep.
And they do that so that way the ball can be a little tacky. The person who's supposed to do that is the umpire. But I've heard reporting that the umpire doesn't do it anymore. Most of them don't do it. It's ball boys. They literally will give a couple bucks to the ball boy, and the ball boy will rub the mud on it, even though there's a very specific method that they have to use to do that. And they haven't been doing that for the longest time, so that's why players resorted to using rosin, to using sunscreen just to be able to hold the ball. Then obviously, you start getting guys like Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer using spider tack, to get an advantage rather than just, getting grip. So that's why I brought it up to my brothers in 2015 in the playoffs. I'm one of the Yankees pitcher, he kept grabbing the bill of his hat, and they're like, no, it's a tick. I'm no, it's not a tick. He's literally just getting grip on his ball. That's why a lot of them didn't care about it for the longest time, because they're like, well, yeah, I'd rather him have control of the ball instead of throwing 100 right at my face because he can't get a grip on it. And so yeah, it's just we're talking about the balls now, so maybe there is an issue with the balls again, but there's been an issue with the balls for a while, and since guys aren't allowed to use the sticky stuff, I mean, we've seen it before. Greinke, he would get a ball, throw it back, get a ball, throw it back, get a ball, throw it back.
I miss him.
These guys, throw hundreds of thousands of pitches throughout their career. They know what these balls are supposed to feel like. So they're saying hey, there's something wrong with the balls, just like the garbage uniforms. We have to listen to these guys, or else, we're going to see, just right now, we're seeing an epidemic of the Tommy John thing. I mean, everyone's throwing harder, but they're also gripping the ball harder too.
Yeah.
So before we go on to the previewing the next series, I guess 2 really quick things. One is before the actual main thing, which is Jock, but talks about the inconsistencies, and Josh in the comments Fanatics is making the baseballs. If you guys didn't see the clip yesterday, Riley Green ended up for the Tigers playing the Pirates, slid into home, just a normal baseball slide. If you guys know, especially in baseball, when you slide, sometimes you can get tears on the butt area where the back pocket is, or even on the side. It's kind of normal. That's wear and tear that would normally happen. Well, Riley Green's pants literally exploded from basically his right hamstring, or his right hip down to his right knee. That side of his pants from where he slid just busted at the seams. just absolute low quality material. I just thought that was really funny. I wanted to bring it up, but Jock, because we were talking about him earlier, doesn't get as many opportunities like you're saying. You know, we face mostly lefties. It is really nice to see because from the younger guys is what's nice about the veteran DH. They probably go in there. They want to make something happen. They want to make, I'm the DH. I'm here to hit homers, here to drive runners in, go into the gap and go up there swinging. Jock in his 19 at-bats has 7 hits, obviously no home runs, but he's hitting 368, 1 RBI, 2 runs scored. He has a 500 on base percentage because he's walked 6 times. He's almost the same amount of hits as walked. 421 slug, 921 OPS, 159 OPS plus. So again, still very small sample size, but it is nice to see if he can do this, if Grichuk can see do what he was doing, and like you're talking about earlier. With the news about JD Martinez being hurt, I don't know, man. Mike Hazen might have cooked again. He might have found a few ingredients to put together and cooked a masterpiece up again.
Yeah. Again, it's early. Brett had a slight overreaction today after the double error inning.
It was more of a, through text I could see, it was more me being like, please, like, I just don't want to see this kind of luck. Like, I know it's early, but the trend where I'm like, please let this trend die soon of just the bad luck, like the bad luck, the bad defense, the bad base running. It's like, it's been like, I know it is 11, 12 games. I get that. That's why I'm like, I wasn't trying to fully overreact. I was just more being like, I'd like this to stop and not be a recurring theme the entire year, please.
This was game 13. So I'm like,
I know, but we've seen it a lot though. That's where I'm like, if it's happened 2 or 3 times, like I get it. But the defensive issues, the base running issues, the offense having their, lack, like they just disappear in the late innings. Some of the things where I'm like, there's just trends I don't like to see where I'm like, okay, I get it. It's baseball. They can do this for another week and then they'll completely get out of it. That's why I'm like not trying to overreact. It's just one of those where I was saying it like I don't like this. This is a trend I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I think those issues will like correct themselves. I'm saying that, even when they were winning a lot, they had a lot of these issues too. I will say though, when these things happen, everyone who says it's early, it's the first games of the season, they'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. Tell me that in mid-September when they're fighting for a wild card spot. Tell me that, now every game matters, right? Not before when, we're 6 games behind the Cubs. Suddenly, we're looking up at them. We're going to be like, oh, I wish we would have won those games. Like, yeah, every game counts, Obviously, I think they can go on a run. Same with like the Dodgers, they'll be 10 games below 500. Then you look up and they're like 25 or 500. And you're like, how the hell did that happen? But these are the games, especially like the ones that we've blown so far. I mean, we've blown quite a few. I mean, you can make an argument that they should be like 10-6 or 10-3 or whatever, because we had the 2 in New York, we had one the other day, and then the 2 in Atlanta. So that's what, like 5-6 games that we had in the pocket that they just blew. So, it's early, but still, we don't want it to get late early.
Yeah. So we have a series coming up here at home this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The St. Louis Cardinals are coming to town. Probably still a lot of people's favorite D-back, Paul Goldschmidt, will be coming to visit. The Cardinals have a very interesting roster. Like, on paper, they should win the NL Central. Wilson Contreras is very good. Nolan Arenado is good. Goldie's good. They're pitching. Like, they thought they fixed it. Sonny Gray didn't make his first start till like yesterday or the day before, so he missed the first week and a half. I'm really excited to watch Mason win because, dear Lord, that man throws a rocket. Like, and it's weird because he's not big like Ellie. Like, he's like 5'11", but he throws the ball like 98 miles an hour from shortstop.
Oh, Mason Wynn, yeah. He's don't tell Justin Turner though. Don't tell Justin Turner. Sorry. Yeah. Like,
he is very small. So here are our matchups. We got Steven Matz versus the Fought Father on Friday. Saturday is Gibson versus Ryan Nelson. So I don't know how that's gonna go. And then Sunday, we got a pitcher's duel: Miles Michaelis versus Zach Gallen. I think Sunday's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we were
it's-
talking about Jock earlier. He's going to get some work on Saturday
true,
and
yeah.
Sunday, probably. So good to see him get some reps again.
Yeah, but Ryan, it's a home start on Saturday, so
Let's hope the trends
but
continue.
if you want a cool giveaway, they're giving out an Alec Thomas t-shirt on Saturday. So get there early, ladies and gentlemen, because these giveaways, they go fast. They go I don't know if this one will go as fast as the Corbin Carroll bobblehead. That one, I can't even, like, Brett, didn't you get there at like 1 o'clock?
I got there with me, because I think gates opened because we had season tickets for that day. I think gates opened at like 3:30 for the season tickets, and then regularly it was like 4. And we showed up at like.
But the game started at 5, though. Like, did the game start at 5?
I thought it was like 5:10.
Yeah.
Maybe the gates were like 2:30 and regularly at 3. Maybe I'm mistaken. But I believe we showed up at like 12, like 11 to go through you went to the sports book to get some beer and wings before. You gotta.
Well, you also had your friend in town.
Exactly. So it was like a little vacation for him, showing him around the town. And when we were sitting and eating, the lines were just, there were already people that were sitting there waiting, like a good 20 people deep in like every line. Even the season ticket holder line had like 15, 20 people. Where by the time we placed some of our bets, got our food, got our drinks, paid, and left, the season ticket line was already like out of the, like onto the main concourse. All the other lines were already hundreds of people deep. And there were still 35, 40 minutes until the season ticket gate opened and an hour plus until the regular.
Yeah. From what I remember, it was like that last year. For any of the big giveaways, you had to get there. Like, it is an all-afternoon thing. Like, be prepared to spend probably 6 hours at the ballpark. Like, 5 to 6 hours there at the ballpark. So it's like, it's going to be fun. I probably won't be going to any of these games. I can't afford it because I went to like 2 games that first series, so I'm probably not going. I might, because they play the Dodgers at the end of the month. I might go to one of those games though.
Yes, show up for Dodger games. Yes, good,
Yes.
good.
So I think we should win this series. I think we win Friday and Sunday. I think Saturday it's Ryan Nelson, so I have no freaking clue.
It's also giveaway day. They always seem to lose giveaway days too.
Right? Like, it's just bad luck.
I'm gonna get a stat on that. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna cook up a little in the last like 5 years, see what the Dbacks.
Because I went to like almost 20 games last season. A lot of those were like those Saturday giveaway days, and I don't think they won once. And I don't think they won a single time when I went on Saturday last year.
I'm gonna go look into that. That's a fun fact. It's a fun stat.
Bold prediction: Brennan Fott on Friday goes 7 innings, 8 Ks.
Okay.
I think he's gonna have that sweeper working because that pitch is like that. That's his pitch. He like his fastball's okay. He just sometimes tends to cover too much of the plate with it, which I'm like, oh, you gotta stop doing that. But his sweepers are really really good. Merrill doesn't have one pitch. Merrill has 6. I was listening to the broadcast. I think they said he had a start last year where he threw all 6 at least 10 times. So like, good luck. Good luck guessing as to what he's throwing. Zach, it's his changeup and curveball. I think those are his 2. Ryan has one pitch. It's his fastball, and it's too straight. He needs to work on getting some movement with it, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Like, so I hope Fott has a good day. Gabe, you got any bold picks for this series against the Cardinals?
I have on Sunday against Michael.
Yeah, Miles.
Nicholas. Yeah. Corbin Carroll, 3 home runs that day.
Oh, That is bold, sir. 3 homers. I mean, I don't hate it. I love the idea. I don't think has he ever had a 2-homer game?
I wasn't there that game where he had like the walk off or whatever? And
I think
something like that.
that's a great question. Actually, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, like obviously, I know he doesn't have a 3-homer game. I was like, does he have at least a 2-homer game? It was very funny.
Yeah, that's right, Oscar. Yeah.
Tuesday. Oh yeah. All right. So he does have the 2-homer. So then we need to get him the 3-homer game. So it's funny. Tuesday, if for those of you on Dbacks Twitter, you know who Goldschmidt Happens is. Big Dbacks fan on Dbacks Twitter. Literally posts, Corbin has not had a home run in over 300 at bats. And then he has a reply to that tweet. Probably hits one tonight. And what does he do? Get his first career leadoff home run. I thought that was funny. So yeah, that was interesting. Brett, bold picks for this series.
So you talked about earlier, Jock actually having a chance to get some consistent playing time. I'm gonna piggyback off of Gabe's Sunday, but instead of it being, it's gonna be Jock. He's gonna have 2 big cock jocks, one into the pool, one over the center field. And then Zach Gallen is going to throw a complete game. I'll go like 1 or 2 runs. Maybe a shutout. Shutout would be nice, but I'm going to say like a complete game 1 or 2. I feel like he's going to die. He's going to have he's going to smell blood in the water and go, "You motherfuckers traded me. You traded me away. I'm going to make it hurt."
This man, I hope you're having fun at work, Josh, because some of these comments have been pretty good. So mine, I feel like a warm take. Both of yours is hot take.
Yeah, you got to be bold with it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. You both were extremely bold on this. For those of you, this is the first time on the Dbacks Dispatch channel, we do appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you do get notified whenever we go live. Pretty much going to be after every series, unless we have a absolutely insane game that we really feel like we need a full episode on a single game. But I think we've been doing pretty well here with series recaps. Just win each series. That's all that I ask. Win each series, and I am content with that. Sweeps are nice. Sweeps are very nice. Just don't lose the series and don't get swept. That's why I think that's why that Brave series was just so frustrating, because we had that series. Make sure to go ahead and follow all of our socials in the description box below. That's where a lot of our content is on our Dbacks Dispatch Twitter. If you like interactions when the games are going on, we live tweet, or we try and do as much as we can. Sometimes schedules just don't allow it, but we definitely try and do it. Brett, any parting thoughts for today's episode?
No, I mean, it's nice to see them, and the little bit of a tough stretch they're on, go in there, have 2 pretty tough battles, but come out on top. I think they're going to use this as some pretty good momentum, take it back home, and hopefully we'll see the offense be a little bit more consistent throughout all 9 innings.
Gabe, any parting thoughts?
I guess I'm going to throw it back to you guys, because I don't care at all about hockey. But I know the Coyotes fans are suffering a little bit. So if you guys want to talk about that real quick.
That's a good reminder, Gabe. I'm not as big of a I like the Coyotes. I've always liked the Coyotes. I'm not a diehard Coyotes fan as much as a lot of people I know. Honestly, truly, my heart breaks for a lot of any Coyotes fan. Just the gaslighting that this ownership and organization has done to this fan base over the last 5-10 years is just insanely disrespectful. Like, I get the cities and stuff didn't want to pay for the team, but the fans wanted the team. The fans wanted the team, and they showed out when the team would actually give a shit. But when you have the owner, from kind of my understanding, being, penny pinching here and there, borderline at Oakland Athletics kind of shit, trying to drive the team out of town, but saying that how much they're dedicated to Arizona, it sucks. It's terrible to lose a team, especially I know that, again, there's a lot of major diehard Coyotes fans, we went through that scare for a couple years of like, oh, the D-backs might move to Vegas. Oh, maybe they'll move somewhere else. Maybe they'll move out of state.
We still have that. Like some people think that they're gonna move out,
but that's what, like, at least it's never been. Like we had that for like every other 5 years, where it's been a Coyotes fan literally every year for the last 5+ years.
Last decade.
It's insanely. It sucks that the fan base has stuck behind the team through all this, and the ownership even last week was like, oh, we're going to buy this land, we're going to bid for this land, and immediately have news come out that they're 90 to 95% done having a deal to move them to Salt Lake City. Just a huge slap in the face to the fan base.
Yeah, it's not great. Josh brings up a really good point. If you would have said this to me last year, I've been like, no, he has made a drastic change since like August. Like
the Matt HBO effect right there. He didn't come out at all and talk to the fans until Matt HBO came out and was talking to the fans and everything. After that, he probably needed some goodwill with the fans here.
Yeah, like he surprised me by how much he was willing to part from his baseball card money. So it's not good. Josh, this is for you. Gujoff wants more D-backs celebrate. Like there is plenty of content to pull from. We just some of us are not as talented as the graphic wizard that is Josh Hunt. So hopefully he can get to work on that.
We have 2 right now. So we have 2 of the sword fighting, which is just guys being guys, boys being boys. You know how it is.
I love
and then we have the Alec. Yeah. Yeah, so it was funny because we made that after one of the Yankee ones, and then we go on a 5-game losing streak. I'm like, we're never going to be able to use this. Thankfully, that changed last night. This right here is just ridiculous. The fact that people that work for the franchise, the ownership and leadership haven't told them anything. Like they basically found out via like Twitter and the news. Like it's quite sad. So hopefully we'll see what happens, but thoughts kind of go out to all of our Coyotes fan brethren. This is probably going to be a very tough time for you guys. So I definitely, I am. So I don't know how I would be if just all of a sudden overnight D-backs like, yeah, see ya. So I definitely am sorry about that. So hopefully the D-backs start playing very, very well. You can kind of get your minds off of that if you're a baseball fan. If you're not, that's okay. It is not for everyone. So thoughts and prayers there for our Coyote brethren. I want to make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you in a couple of days.
Yeah.